short demonstration of the Africultures platform, starting from the landing page. Here we're in the landing page where 4 buttons lead to the different components of the platform. The different components of the platform are targeting in 2 ways. Firstly, there are 2 parts like the WebGIS and the GeoBI, the business analytics tool, where the data are presented in different ways. In the WebGIS, geospatial data can be displayed and explored. We're going to go in more detail. And in the GeoBI, we can view and create different visualizations and of the data in terms of for purposes of monitoring various variables in different ways. We're gonna see some examples later. And the other component targets a wider audience of visitors who are not maybe so familiar with data, or just need to have access and see what is offered by the platform, by the project, and get to know and understand what is the purpose of these services. So by clicking on the first button of the landing page, we can be directed to the services, to all the services of the project. Here is actually a list of the 7 Africulture services, where we can see some information and some description about them and what they are related with. We can click further in one of the services and get to read a little bit more about this service. For example, in this service is the weather service. There are a few words here, and also there is the list of the products that constitute this service. So we can go one step further and get to see what is related to these products. For example, the weather extremes and early warning. This service is presented here, so there's some sort of description and a list of the relevant data sets and layers that someone can see on the data catalog. So as I mentioned, here we explore what is available in the platform by the project, and apart from some idea about the data, the data are also presented here. So all the relevant data can be viewed on the WebGIS map that is fully interactive here, and we can see that they are pre-selected, the relevant layers and data sets. For example, the extreme low or high daily temperatures, this data set is here. In the same way, all the products and for all services are structured. So there is a short description. For example, the crop service, supported by the data. So someone can have at glance one overview of what is available. Going back to the landing page, we can be directed to the other component where we can explore actually the data. This is the WebGIS. It's a data catalog of geospatial data. Here we can add the different available products. We can see that in the catalog, all the products are grouped into services, the weather, the crop, the water, land, drought, livestock, and climate. And going further, clicking further, we can actually load the data by pressing the plus button. And so here we are, we have on the map, this particular product is the air temperature. I think it's a forecast. Here we can explore it. We can also add some administrative boundaries of the country we are interested, so we can actually focus on the area of interest. So regarding these functionalities here, it's a typical WebGIS where we can scroll and zoom in and zoom out. And on the left panel, let me zoom in a little bit so it's larger. On this panel on the left, we can there are various buttons we can relate that give us information and control on the data that are displayed. For example, having loaded this air temperature data set, we can, for example, get some more information about this data set. By clicking on the About This Data button, we can navigate on this window where there are some metadata related, or we can export the data set, remove it from the list, fix the zoom extent, play with the opacity, and various other stuff related to the colors. We can play with the color bar, although this is preset in a convenient way. In that case, having as blue the cold temperature and as red the warm up, so I would like to focus a little bit on the part where we can navigate through the time. So on that section of this toolbar, on the time section, here we can actually click and select different time steps of this data set. So this is part of a weather forecast. So we have 1 week in advance available data. So we can actually click on different, let me zoom out so we can see maybe the difference. And we can navigate through various steps, time steps. So by also clicking left and right is going forward, next time, it's the next available. I think it's a few hours later, and a few hours later, and a few hours later is something we can do manually here, or there is also a functionality where we can actually do it in a semi-automatic way. It's on the bottom of the window where the maps are displayed. There is a sort toolbar and the line of time. So we can just by pressing this play button, we can view a sort like a movie of the data set moving forward and loading automatically the next time step. So this is something interesting for showcasing purposes. There is also another functionality related to the time series. We can, by clicking on the map at the point, we can get information about the data set loaded and the at the particular location or pixel in case of raster datasets. So in that case, we get the value here of this data set, the temperature is 28 degrees Celsius at this date and time. And also there is the entire time series for this particular pixel plotted here. This is something we can view also by pressing the expand and navigate in a slightly larger panel. And we can, of course, download this. I would like also to share another functionality. Let me show you. There is a functionality regarding the calculation of some statistics of a particular area at a given area or polygon. So if we, for example, load a typical vegetation index in DVI, let's focus on the country, and we can actually, yeah, that's the NDVI for this date. Here again, here is the label, the value range, and I would like to draw a polygon for which I would like to have the zonal statistics of this particular layer index, in that case vegetation index, at this given time frame. So by going on the add data, on the top of the menu there is the zonal statistics tool, where it gives me the chance to draw a polygon or to insert the coordinates. And for example, I'm going to draw, okay, just a rough polygon to close it. So this is done. We have the coordinates here. We know the layer name. So at the bottom, we just run the analysis here. And on the left column, we get the zonal statistics for this particular area, namely the mean, the max, and the minimum, the count of the pixels. So this is something interesting. We can, for example, add some areas. This is and get the average values, or I don't know, the minimum, the maximum, depending on the analysis. There is also another interesting functionality for comparing. Let me try to compare. I don't know if they are relevant though. The temperature with no, should do the NDVI with VCI that are relevant. The vegetation condition index. So again, I should focus on our area of interest, zoom to the extent, and so we can here actually split the screen and get in a way to compare two different data sets. So we can put on the left the NDVI and on the right the vegetation condition index, for example. And so the screen is splitted, and we can make some visual comparisons on the areas of interest. So this is another interesting functionality. Okay, here we have different spatial resolution, I think. No, it's the same. But this is a nice tool. In some cases might be very useful. After like we created the map, we can just share it on the top in various ways. We can create a story, or we can just share the URL by copying it, and it's going to be loaded in exactly the same setting. So at the same zoom and layers, it's gonna be. So this is a nice way to present, to share. Going back. I would like to go to the use cases section, going back to the landing page. So here we have a similar way to present these stories, like the services. So the use case of Niger, we can navigate there and have a look on what is about, get some information that is directly supported by the relevant data. So there is a list of the relevant data that are preloaded for this case. So we can just click on one of these of the services on the list and get to directly to the WebGIS that is built for that particular use case. At the same time, we can just view some prefixed maps that support the stories. That is fully interactive, so we can again use all the tools and play with the data and explore all the relevant data. So it's a good, I think it's pretty convenient for someone who is exploring the use case to go through the text and then to have a look on the data themselves and how the use case is structured and built around the data. As the last part of the platform is as I mentioned before, the business analytics tool is the last button on the landing page, where it directs to a different component that where the data can be presented in a different visualizations in dashboard. For example, in that case, supporting the use for the support of this use case that we're interested in the regional pastoral information service. The story, I mean, the stories goes through like the ministry would like to have an overview of some parameters that it could be monitored or presented. So in that case, the business analytics tool allows us to create dashboards for that monitoring. The dashboards have different, allow us to visualize the data, the available data in different ways. So in that case, the data presented here is the accumulated precipitation. It's a forecast, it's a 6-month forecast. So in the coming 6 months, this is the accumulated precipitation for the different regions of the country, and something that is interactive, and we can go through and click in the different administrative layers and units and see the accumulated precipitation. And it's also this visualization is comes together with actually plotting the same data. It's actually presenting the same data in a different way, probably more convenient, I guess. So the different areas of the country, we get a maximum precipitation anomaly for the coming 6 months. So this is something we can easily go through and have a look. So it serves the purposes of monitoring that use case. So these dashboards can be created by the users or just consumed, depending on the rights and of having on the platform. So, but it's quite easy to go through and create more dashboards depending the case. In that case, this is a dashboard created, and could be different data sets. So more or less, this is about the platform.